What I'm going to talk about in this video can be summed up by something Woody Allen once said: the lion and the calf shall lie down together, but the calf won't manage much sleep. However, before I get into all of that, let me give you a little background. My name's Jonathan Self, and by trade, I'm a journalist. One of the subjects I feel passionate about is animal welfare, and in particular, the welfare of domesticated dogs. I should explain, incidentally, that I share responsibility for the nutrition of around 5,000 dogs and have written a book on the subject. The greatness of a nation and its moral progress, as Gandhi pointed out, can be judged by the way its animals are treated. The British are known as a nation of animal lovers, and it's certainly true that we pamper our pooches. According to market research commissioned by Sainsbury's, we spend an average of £1,183 per dog per year. Some of this money goes on such items as fancy dress costumes, special beds, and even weddings. But the majority, an average of £399 a year, is spent on food. Food is, of course, a key component to health. Think what a difference it makes to humans. We know that if we eat fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, not too much dairy, and moderate quantities of animal protein, we'll live longer, healthier lives. We also know that if we eat processed food or food containing chemical additives, too much fat and too much sugar, we'll live shorter, considerably less healthy lives. In fact, it's proven that everything from allergies to heart conditions and from skin complaints to cancer can be caused by a poor diet. What holds good for humans holds good for every single species on Earth. Let me give you a simple but obvious example. Giant pandas have evolved in such a way that if they don't receive a diet almost completely composed of bamboo, they quickly become ill and die. Scientists refer to the diet that a species has evolved to eat as a biologically appropriate diet. It's the diet that ensures optimum health, and perhaps, not surprisingly, it's the diet that a species eats in the wild. It obviously follows from all of this that if you want your dog to lead a long and healthy life, you need to ensure that he or she is receiving its biologically appropriate diet. But what should that diet be? To answer this question, we really need to consider what a dog actually is. The clue, as it happens, lies in its Latin classification, Canis lupus familiaris, which makes it a subspecies of the grey wolf, aka Canis lupus lupus. The term subspecies has a very specific meaning. It refers to the fact that the species and subspecies can interbreed and produce fertile offspring. The only reason they don't is because of geography or other natural factors. Let me introduce you to a couple of wolf subspecies of which I'm inordinately fond. This is Darling, our English pointer, who has to suffer all sorts of lame jokes like "Don't point, darling, it's rude." Pointers are a working breed bred by hunters to flush birds. And this is Cosmo, our Bichon Frise. Bichon Frise were originally bred in the Middle Ages by Spanish sailors who wanted small companion dogs to take on long voyages. The fact is that ever since dogs were domesticated, they've been selectively bred to develop all sorts of physical and behavioural traits. We may have managed to alter the way dogs look and to a certain extent think, but physiologically they haven't changed. In a nutshell, there's absolutely no difference, apart from size, between the internal organs and digestive processes of Darling and Cosmo and those of a grey wolf. Accordingly, they need to eat an identical diet. Aha, you may be saying to yourself, surely in all the years since dogs were domesticated, their digestive systems have evolved. Well, they haven't, and the reason is there hasn't actually been anything close to enough time. According to paleontologists, it takes around 100,000 years for a species to adapt to a new diet. Although dogs were domesticated as long ago as 20,000 years, maybe even longer, they continued to eat pretty much the same food until very recently. This is because modern, manufactured dog food wasn't invented until 1860 and didn't really take off until the 1940s. In reality, dogs have had very little time to adapt to a change in diet. What I'm saying then is that a dog's natural diet, the diet that will ensure optimum health, is the same as a wolf's natural diet. What wolves eat can be summarised in a single word: prey. Wolves are carnivores. They'll consume a certain amount of grass, vegetables and fruit if they're available, but basically the main component of their diet is prey: insects, mice, rats, shrews, rabbits, birds, sheep, and all the other animals that they can catch and kill either on their own or in a pack. Moreover, they eat every part of their prey and they eat it raw. The meat, as you would expect, but also the bones, vital organs, and even the contents of the stomach. So, if your dog's welfare is your priority, if you want your dog to lead a long and healthy life, then the best thing you could possibly do is feed him or her the domestic equivalent to a wild diet. That's to say, raw meat, raw bone, and a small amount of fresh fruit and vegetable. Some 2.5 millennia ago, the prophet Isaiah, keen to set up a good gag for Woody Allen, not only proposed that the calf should lie with the lion, but also that the wolf should dwell with the lamb. The idea that raw meat and bone is the best diet for dogs is as old as the Bible.